All right, how you guys doing? Welcome to another episode of Every Day is Ukeday. I think I have this episode that will change your life. So I decided to dress for the occasion because I think this is a very, very important episode for you guys. So hope you guys enjoy this. I actually covered this in my intermediate workshop last week, but I know a lot of you guys didn't see it, so I wanted to make an episode of this. Okay, so this episode is about trying to make that leap of going from a beginner to an intermediate player. Okay, so this is what happens. And I know that this relates to a lot of you out there. Maybe you've been playing for a few months, a year, 2 years, maybe 3 years. And we all start as beginners. We learn chords, different strum patterns. Maybe you can pick a little bit. So basically, you're comfortable moving your left hand. You can strum, you can pick, okay? And then now you say, you kind of feel that you're a pretty strong ukulele player as a beginner. And now you want to make that leap and get into the intermediate area, right? Or get to that intermediate level. So, but you don't know how. So you go on YouTube, you start watching some of your favorite players, and you see a lot of them playing these solo arrangements. Maybe, All right, so you're watching that, and then you say, oh, I want to learn that. Then you go, wait, what are they doing? Because they're not really just strumming, they're not really picking, right? But you're so determined to get to the next level that what you tend to do is you say, okay, well, forget about everything I know as a beginner because that doesn't apply here. And then you go on YouTube, you find that video, you slow it down to like 20 times slower, and then you start trying to figure out how to play the song, and it could take forever. So in today's episode, I'm going to share with you one technique, just one technique with your right hand that I want you to practice, okay? And when you get comfortable with this technique, I guarantee you a lot of these solo arrangements that you watch or the songs that you want to learn, it's going to be so much easier, 10 times easier, and it's life-changing, okay? Come on. You've never seen me dressed no one has seen me dressed like this before, but I had to dress for the occasion. Okay, so we're gonna learn one right-handed technique and it's gonna change your life. Let's do it. Alright, so I'm going to do 3 things in this episode. One is I'm going to show you the technique. The second thing is I'm going to show you guys why this technique is so special and why it's going to change your life and how we apply it to songs when we play solo arrangements. And the third one is I'm going to give you guys just an exercise or a drill you guys can use to get better at this technique. Okay, this technique involved using my pointer finger, and 80% of the technique is basically just going up like this. Okay? So what I want to do is I want to have a brace on my ukulele. For me, I feel like I can be more consistent when I have one finger touching the ukulele as my brace. I don't like to float my fingers too much. I know a few bass players that do that. It's kind of a common thing how they just float their hands. I think that's amazing. I don't know how to do that. But I do give myself a brace. Okay, now watch what I'm doing. I'm using my pointer finger and I'm going up. Okay? And what I'm trying to do is aim for about 2 strings, just the A string and the E string. And if I hit the C string a little bit, that's fine. Okay? But it's just like this. Now don't curl your fingers under the string and so it's weird like this. Try to get comfortable just relaxing and just going up, 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 up. Okay? And what you have to do is, depending on the size of your hand, you're gonna have to find the right spot for yourself and make sure your fingers are kind of pointing in a downward position, and you just kind of come up like this. Okay. So this is 80% of it. Okay? And the reason why this technique right here is really important is because this is in between a strum and a pick. Okay, when we pick, we hit one string at a time. But when we strum, if we strum up, we usually hit all the strings. Okay, so you notice how you can kind of hear the melody changing, but it's not that strong. Okay, by using this technique, stands out a lot more. Okay, so this is 80% of it. Just take some time to do this. Okay? The next thing to get comfortable with is this tap. Just tapping the top string with your thumb. Okay, so watch this. Up, tap, up, tap, up, tap. And what I want you to do too is, when you're using your pointer finger to go up, think of it as just another picking technique. So if I said, I want you to pick high C, high D, high E, high D, high C, okay? But then I said, okay, but we're gonna use the solo arrangement up technique. It's the same thing, so you're just gonna go, okay, so that we're, instead of picking with your thumb, we're gonna use this technique and go C, asked you to throw taps in between. C tap, D tap, D tap, D tap, C. One more time. E, C. Okay, so I'm just throwing these taps in between. Okay, so once again, back to the right hand technique. Up, tap, up, tap. And you should be able to get comfortable with not just this, but doing it on the E string and the C string as well. So the A string, E string, C string. Okay, so A, 2, 3, 4, E, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, E, 2, 3, 4, A, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so even if it takes you weeks or a month to get comfortable with this technique, it's definitely worth it. What you're going to realize now that you know this technique, is that I would say most solo arrangements, I mean, there's some that are basically just strumming songs that, carry a melody. But for the most part, you're gonna notice this technique is used very often, okay? So, remember I told you if I asked you to just pick C, D, E, D, C, but use your index finger because it's a solo arrangement, you would just go. Okay? So, I know that there's some of you who actually, maybe you watch While My Guitar Gently Weeps and say, oh, I want to learn that song. Okay, so you slow it down. But think about what's happening here. Okay, if you pay attention to my right hand, I'm doing the exact technique that I just explained to you. Up, tap. Now I'm going to slide from B flat to C. Up. Tap, up, tap, up, tap, okay? Okay, and then that's it. Okay, move down, strum. Oh, sorry, strum. Right? My right hand, I'm using this same technique, okay? I'm not actually sticking to the up, tap, up, tap, up, tap, up, tap, but it's pretty much the same thing. Up, tap, up, tap, up, tap, strum, up, strum, up, tap, up, tap, up, tap. Oh, it's really hard to do it slow. I don't know how you guys learn things so slow like that. You know, you gotta kind of use your ear. You hear the melody. Okay, so that's just one song though. Okay, we're not trying to learn just one song. I have a few solo arrangements that I created. Lady Gaga's Bad Romance. So if you listen. Next part. Okay. So now you're watching that and maybe you say, oh, I want to learn that. Okay, well, what am I doing? I'm holding an E minor chord. The melody is E, E, B, C, D. Okay, but I'm not going to use my thumb. I'm just going to use the solar ear. So I'm holding the E minor. I'm going to use this. E, E, B, B, C, D. That's it. And I'm throwing in a tap in there. E tap, E tap, E, B, C, D, up, B, B, C, D, tap. E, up, E tap, E tap, B, B, C, D, tap. Okay, so now when you're watching this, if I were to slow it down a little bit, or if I wanted to teach this to you guys, you would have a much easier time learning these songs. Okay? E minor chord, you know the E minor chord, you learned it in the beginner, as a beginner you learned it. Okay, the E note, I always say you should learn your notes. Okay, so if you're new, this is the first video you're ever watching, go on my episode, Every Day is Ukeday, go on my channel, Every Day is Ukeday, and learn your notes. Okay, so it's really important. So, one more time. E, E, B, B, C, D, right? So now you're learning it, you're figuring it out, and it makes sense. Okay, and that's why you're gonna learn so much faster. Okay, so basically that's all it is. Okay, and I'm going to the next part. This is still an E minor. Okay, but I'm gonna hold it this way because I want this sound later. So that's why I'm not holding it like this. Okay, but the melody. Okay, same thing. Okay, so you see how majority of it is me doing this little picking technique with my index finger so you can hear the chord and the melody. And every once in a while I just throw in that tap just to kind of fill in the rest part. Okay, so my index finger, my right hand, just doing most of the work, okay, with this one technique. We'll move on to a Bruno Mars song. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so what am I doing? Can you do this? E tap, E tap, E tap, E tap. And if you can, then just add these fingers. What am I doing here? Okay, I'm using this as my D minor. It's not quite a D minor, it's more like a D minor sus, but I'm adding my D minor, strum, up, E, D, up, C, up, A, up. Okay, so am I doing anything special? If you don't know this technique, then I am. But if you know this technique, I'm not doing anything special. Okay. Let's put it together. 2, 3, 4. Okay, strumming. One more time. Okay. So, can you imagine? Right now, I believe most of you guys, even though you can't do it now, in your head, you're kind of following what I'm doing. Okay, and this is me just playing the song. So if I wanted to teach this to you guys, and I kind of slowed it down and went part by part, I think you would pick it up a lot faster. And imagine how much time you would save, rather than trying to slow it down 20 times and trying to figure out exactly where the finger is and what is this, wait, up. And then, okay, and then, wait, what string is that? Tap. It's crazy, okay? Don't do that, okay? So what we're doing is we're taking your knowledge, everything you've learned in the beginner, as a beginner, and with this one technique, you're gonna keep this knowledge, add this technique, and then it's gonna bring you into the intermediate level, okay? You guys can try this exercise now. I taught this song, it's in one of the episodes, called E minor practice song. Goes something like this. But it's a short song. It's only like, I don't know, 30 seconds, 40 seconds. I just created this song more of an exercise. Okay, but take a look now. Okay, so melody, E, E, F sharp, G. Okay, but it's over the E minor chord, so you gotta hold the E minor. Okay, and then we're not gonna play the A string, so you can let that go. And the melody is E, so we gotta let this go. And we're basically going, okay, but we're gonna use a technique. Just because you can hear the C string, it almost sounds like, in the G, it sounds like I'm playing that chord too. Right? Da, da, da. Instead of just picking. Okay, so here's what I'm doing now. E, E sharp, G, tap, C string. Okay, so you got that? E, E sharp, G, tap, C string, and strum the E minor chord. Okay, so take some time. What did I just do? E, E sharp, G, tap, C string, strum E minor. Okay, how long will it take you to learn this if you're comfortable with the technique? Not very long. Gotta take do it twice. Now the next part is actually a C chord. The note, the melody is high D, high C, B, A, F sharp. Okay, but what we're gonna do for D is we're gonna strum. Okay, high C, same technique. Tap, B, tap, A, tap, F sharp. That's it. So you're going to need a few minutes to practice it, but as far as understanding it, did I do anything special? No. And why is this not special to you? Because you understand this life-changing technique. Okay, so now if you want to get to like really detailed, okay, so C, tap, E, tap, F sharp, tap, C string, tap. Okay, so B, C, B, A, F sharp, tap, C string, tap, and then we're just going to throw in a simple up, up, down strum. So when we put it together, 1, 2, 3, 4. Next part. practice, okay? Some exercises, okay? Like I said, A string, E string, C string. So just try, I guess you could go just the regular up, tap, up, tap, up, tap, up, tap. So 4 beats on each string. So 1, 2, tap, 3, tap, 4, E string, 1, 2, 3, C string, 1, 2, 3, back to E string, 2, 3, 4, A. So 1, 2, 3, 4, E, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, E, 2, 3, 4, A, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay? See if you can go faster. Start off slower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay? So that's a good one. And let's say you want to try moving your fingers around. We can try. Oh, let's just do the Bruno Mars one, the beginning part. So it's just the E tap, E tap, E string. Okay? And I'm just going G, E string, space number 3, space number 5, space number 7, space number 8. That's it. Two exercises. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And now you got 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And just keep going. Okay, remember now, these are exercises, so you're trying to focus on the technique. Okay, don't worry so much about the song that we're playing or something. Just focus on the way it sounds, the tone, and timing, okay? So if you're good at this, you're gonna realize that in the future when I do upload more songs, solo arrangement songs, I'll be able to explain it to you. You're gonna catch on a lot faster and it's gonna be a lot more fun, okay? As far as being a ukulele player, I started as a beginner when I was very young. And I practiced and I progressed. And I completely understand the worst thing you can do, the worst feeling is to feel like you're stuck at a certain level, okay? And I know that there's many of you who feel like you're stuck because you've been learning the chords, and now you want to get to the intermediate level, but you think, man, it's so hard, and then it gets a little discouraging. But it's only hard because of the way that you're trying to approach the intermediate level. Okay, so hopefully you practice this technique and just, have a little confidence in me, put a little trust in me. If you guys learn this, you're gonna realize that in the future, we're gonna start progressing a lot faster. And then you're gonna start saying, man, Bruce changed my life. Right? And this is a very important episode, and that's why I dressed up for this occasion. All right? So I hope you guys enjoy it. Please practice. And like I said, if you start getting comfortable, your first test can be the E minor practice song, because that song should make sense to you. And I think you'll be able to follow it. Without this technique, you're gonna have a hard time following, a very difficult time following that song, okay? So go for it, and I'll be honest, this is not my clothes. This is Jake's vest and Jake's shirt. I don't have clothes like this, but I knew today is the day that I change your life. All right, you guys take care. I'll check you guys out later. All right, see ya.